Yo, back with another episode of whatever the fuck it's called, documenting the journey. I'm trying to do these on Wednesdays now, filming on Wednesday, uploading it on Wednesday. I think that makes more sense. I feel even less articulate and more tired and less in a good mood than the previous two episodes. I feel like the first episode I was super articulate. I don't know, I think I just came across like really excited to be doing the new series and shit. And then I've been in the fucking trenches, but that's the whole purpose of this series, is just to like number one, mainly just document it for me, so in 10 years time it's fucking interesting to look back on, because like I said, I just net regret not doing this more in the past. It'd be so interesting to look back when I was like 20, 21, first in the trenches back in the day, when I was at uni and stuff, and now obviously I'm more aware of that fact, and when I'm 30, 35, 40, whatever, this will be mad looking back, hopefully, when I've obviously become a billionaire or some shit, which is obviously the plan. I guess, yeah, I wrote like a few notes of like the main things I want to talk about, because I want to keep this, well, not like to the point, but I just want to keep it, it's fucking really raw in it. Like, it's funny, like the first thing is, this seems to have gone down better with my audience in terms of like views, engagement, comments, just like general messages about it and shit, than any of the recent pods. And it makes me think like, fuck, this takes 10 minutes to do. A pod takes hours per week per one to like plan, get the guest in, like be hospitable. I fucking like get dressed and shit, make sure the flat's all clean. I mean, I'm obviously still going to keep doing the pod. It's just funny because this is like super low effort. And yeah, I mean, comment if you think I should stop doing the pod and just do this, but I'm not going to. I'm going to do both, I think, certainly for now. But that's just a funny observation. What has happened in the past week? So I guess we're actually bang on 6 weeks in now, which isn't that long, but feels like quite a while because quite a lot's happened. I'm like very much in the trenches again. Main things, I actually switched officially to the new 3PL today. Like, that was a weird one because like it's a classic case of, I made the decision because it's the right decision in my mind for numerous reasons. I'm not going to talk shit about them, whatever, but the second I switch, I send all my stock, they suddenly care about me as a customer. It's like, all right, cool. Why didn't you care about him before? But classic case. That was the right decision. That happened. Bit of a faff. Cost a few grand to do that ultimately, because I had to sign up, pay like new fees to sign on, whatever, pay like fucking haulage fees. Maybe not a few grand, maybe like $1,000. But it costs money and time and faff to do that, but it's definitely worth doing it. That's one thing that's happened. Another thing that's happened is I switched to Skio from Recharge. Don't really know why. I mean, to be honest, I put on Twitter, is there a better subscription thing? Because basically like the first month was just data collection. Like I just put up, the price, the offer, what I thought was good, and then I realized loads of things, like I had 3 different Shopify listings instead of one listing with subscription variants. So like that was the one way I set up the website wrong. So I switched to Skio, got that set up much better. It looks much better. Haven't noticed a massive difference conversion rate wise in terms of having a much prettier setup, but that will come with time, I think. Yeah, just been starting to like dive into the data really, because you throw a lot of shit at the wall in the first month, and I knew I'd do that, like particularly content, like different ads, different ad channels, of course. Still limited on ad spend. We'll still only be spending like $1,000 a day on ads pretty much since the past 4 weeks because of stock. I launched with 3,000 units. We're rattling through them. I've got another 5,000 coming in, landing in like 2 weeks. So then we can start going fucking probably like double or even triple the ad budgets, and obviously hopefully along with that double or triple revenue on a daily basis, which would mean the run rate's pretty fat given how new the brand is. But like one thing, I'm going to try and like keep this focus on the things I wanted to say, but I'm going to fucking chop into a million different angles like I always do on the pod. The one thing I'm conscious of this time round, with this being not my first rodeo, so to speak, not my first brand, is I don't just want to throttle the fuck out of it. I actually want to be way more like intentionally, like this is the goal for this month. We want to grow every month rather than just be like, let's get to 1 million a month in 6 months potentially, which I'm pretty confident I could do if I really throttled it and went balls to the wall and everything. I mean, that'd be fucking insane. But I'd rather go hypothetically 100k, 150k, 200k, 250k, 300k over like 6 months, and then it's consistent growth. You can scale the back end and the operation, the cash flow and like the finances as much, which is stuff that I got wrong in the past. So that's what I'm thinking broadly. But on that, yeah, I got 5k units coming in 2 weeks. And then I took a pretty big punt and ordered another 10,000 units this week, which is quite scary because that's like a pretty fat fucking stock order, to be honest, especially at this stage when we sold like 1,500 units. Again, massively transparent, but yeah, like it's still cool. Obviously, I mean, this is not drop shipping, this is not white labeling, this is like the, you know, as bespoke as you can go, like bespoke formula, like completely from scratch, everything, of course. But like even more so than stuff I've done in the past, like jewelry was ultimately like kind of just white labeling in a way, like unique designs, but at the end of the day, it's just jewelry. Like it's the same as every other fucking chain. Neon Signs was like ultimately branded drop shipping because it had to be. This is obviously fully bespoke, higher barrier to entry, took a lot longer to make a reality, took a lot more money to make a reality. So now it's actually like proving itself as a business. It's like more exciting, even though it's on a smaller scale than Neon was, obviously. For now, it's like, well, fuck, this is something I entirely built from scratch and people are subscribing. So that's pretty fucking sick. We've had like a 18% subscriber rate since we launched, which, I mean, I don't even know if that's good or not, but it seems pretty good to me because people have never tried the product, never seen the brand. Obviously, if, you know, that should increase over time. If people keep subscribing, then, you know, that's where we're going to make the real money long term. Assuming like people don't cancel, and like ultimately like churn should be positive. So like more people subscribe than unsubscribe, obviously, and you scale that up. What else did I want to say? Yeah, so that big stock order was kind of scary. Not scary, but it's like I decided as well, just on that, to focus on the one hero SKU for now. Like I've got a gummy in the works, which I'm thinking about releasing as like an upsell / cross-sell product. I think that'd be good because the AOV is still a bit low. And then I'm working on a few accessories that I just think would make sense to like add to like the offer. I think that'll make sense. One thing as well, I'm moaning about the AOV, but I'm actually considering doing like a Google optimized test to try out going cheaper, because a lot of our competitors, particularly in America, who are massive like Mudwater, who are apparently doing like 9 figures. I don't know where I got the number from, but it looks like they are based on SimilarWeb. They're basically all coming in at like 30, equivalent to £39 a month, whereas I'm 49, and then 39 on a subscription. They're like 30 on a subscription. So I'm considering testing that. Again, it would fuck the AOV a little bit, but if it could potentially double conversion rate, or, you know, 1.5x conversion rate, then is it worth it? That's the thing I need to figure out. So starting to run some tests on that, diving into the data a bit more. That's something I'm like genuinely doing a lot. I'm rambling here already, but yeah, I suppose another thing I want to talk about, so like UGC creators, and again, I'm not here to shit on any group of people, or certainly not naming any names, but I spent a lot of money on like trialing out a lot of UGC and a lot of different sort of content, like UGC being probably the biggest one and the biggest expense because I paid for so much of it. Had some really good stuff, but then there's some stuff where it's like, and you can probably relate if you run a brand, and I've kind of tweeted about it a little bit, I think. You'll pay someone, say, £100 a video, which, by the way, I think is fucking ludicrous. I think the whole market of UGC is a bit of a bubble, almost like a housing bubble, because like agencies are trying to charge 400 quid for a UGC video. And bear in mind, this is stuff that, certainly in my mind, is like so disposable. Like, you know, we might test 20 of them in a week. If it doesn't hit, like, we're binning it. We're not going to use it for anything. It's not like brand content, glossy shit that's going on the website evergreen for 2 years. Do you know what I mean? So it's ludicrous. And then even creators themselves trying to charge £100 a video, which is worth it if it's a good video. I'm not saying it's not. And I've had some that were that price that were really good and they're performing well on ads and whatever. Great. But this is shit that I can make myself in 10 minutes. And I've done it myself. Some of the best performing ads are me talking shit, looking like crap, hair not done in the morning. Do you know what I mean? Drinking my product, because I think it's always kind of like funny and like a tradition at this point for me to make a feature in my ads. I did it with Midnight City jewelry, and I got recognised in Bali by Australian guys that seen me wearing this weird shirt. So I've definitely got balls for that shit. And obviously Neon, my fucking bedroom, became famous. So I was like, well, I'll do a few UGC ads. And I'm not saying I'm going to make my own ads all the time, but the point is it takes 10 minutes to make. I don't really think that's £100 a video. Like, I think people are kind of naming their price because they think brands will pay it, which is fine. I get that to an extent. But ultimately, like, I'm already seeing more UGC creators, and the price is going to go down because brands aren't going to pay all of them £100 a video. There just isn't enough. I don't think there's enough brands willing to pay that for the amount of UGC creators that are now cropping up. It's like a new little economy. But yeah, I mean, that's my general thoughts on that. Like, one brief example, again, naming no names. Paid this creator like £200 for 3 videos, so £70 a video. I gave her like it's a girl, gave her strict guidelines, like, because I wrote these based on feedback that people wanted more guidelines. So like, you know, do X, Y, Z, needs to be this long, say this. Didn't do any of those, and then sent me an invoice. I was like, come on, I sent you a bloody guideline. So that shit's just frustrating, but it's part of the game. But I just, for anyone watching that's UGC creator, just freaking like over deliver. Like, people are paying you well to do something that ultimately isn't that hard work, like, to be quite honest. Maybe I'm too honest, but that's just my honest view. But yeah, good creators will get repeat work. I've already got a few that I've agreed to work with again on like the second or third month now already. So yeah, I just think make good content is the key thing. Like, it's less about the price, it's more about just make good content. Like, the price is pretty high anyway, I think, across the board right now for UGC. But yeah, that's my point. What sort of thing I want to speak about? Yeah, I suppose just like feeling. It's funny because I'm doing much smaller numbers than I was 2 years ago, like right now, because fucking 2 years ago I was doing 1.5 million a month, had a Ferrari in the garage and I was 24. But I feel so much wiser and more experienced now in every way, particularly on like the financial side, to be honest. And that's still not my forte at all. Oh, that's another thing we're trying to do. I say we, Alex, one of my investors, who's definitely like a bit of a formal mentor to me now at this point, helped me hire a portfolio part-time FD. Basically fucking smart financial don to do like 1 day a month, just to basically position and plan the business financially for, you know, potential future investment, like the whole financial narrative really. So beyond just like basic accounting and management accounts, this is more like planning, forecasting, strategy, all that sort of shit, which is not my bag at all. So yeah, getting help with that. I just feel a lot more experienced. Like, I'm probably like more frugal with cash than I was in the past, which to like a lot of 18-year-old dropshippers, they'll be like, oh, you're a pussy or whatever. No, it's just like, this is the reality. If you want to build something long-term and sustainable, like the finances and cash flow and all this sort of stuff, it's stuff that no one fucking speaks about on Twitter or YouTube, because, I mean, neither do I, because it's a bit more private, it's a bit more taboo, and like, you know, whatever. It's less clickable basically, but it's fucking important, because I learned the hard way. You can scale something too quick, you have effectively the rug pulled out from under you and stuff. You know, I had a massive scale problem, as everyone knows, and shit can go very wrong very quick. So yeah, like on the financial side, I'm way more strict, I suppose, now, but also I am very aware of trying to build something sustainably in every way. And granted, Neon Beach was a fucking unusual case, like for two reasons primarily: the ridiculous scale so quick, and a ridiculous level of issues so quick on the back end that was largely out of my control. So yeah, that taught me a lot. I definitely think in like a net positive way. Obviously this business model is much more robust from the start anyway. But yeah, that's just something else I'm feeling. I guess Ecom Stress has come back a little bit. Like, I used to joke like I think I tweeted like, I miss the ecom anxiety. Like, anyone watching, I spoke to mates about this, and like, I think everyone can relate to this to an extent, especially if anyone building like something real, not just fucking, I don't know, drop shipping for like a week. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you know, it's slightly different, and I used to do that as well. It was definitely less stressful. Yeah, just fucking like, you know, the numbers affect your personality, don't they? They affect how you feel about yourself, your self-esteem. That's just the real shit. And it's not just me or anyone that's beginner. Not that I'm a beginner, but it's not just me, it's not just you, it's not just beginners, not just experienced people, it's fucking everyone. Because, you know, I know people that run multi 8-figure brands that are close friends of mine, and they have the same shit. They've gone through the same shit. You know, that they have the same ups and downs. You'd be surprised, like, you may look at certain people, including myself, but probably not myself at this point because I've outed myself so much and I'm so transparent. But like, you may look at certain people on Instagram, like founders, whatever, and think, oh, they've never had a bad day, or that they've never gone through a rough time, or, you know, they've never had a week where results were shit and they start to think he's at the end or whatever. Fucking trust me, they have. Because I know a lot of these people personally. I mean, I was that guy. Probably everyone looked at me driving the cars I had, you know, living in the place I live, even now, and thought, oh, you know, he's got it all figured out. But trust me, like, fucking ecom anxiety is real. Like, entrepreneurial anxiety is real. Like, you know, just you can't escape it. Like, when it's good, you feel really good. When shit's not as good, you don't feel as good, and that's something you have to deal with as an entrepreneur, right? And yeah, I just think like a broader point on that is just everyone is really trying to do something legit and is in the trenches and has been in the trenches, can relate to how you feel, because I'm sure a lot of people watching this, starting out and so on, it's fucking hard, and everyone feels the same. Even people that have been doing it like 7 years like me, I still get, I'm still, my emotions are controlled to an extent by how well the business is doing. Of course they are. It's probably less so than it used to be, and because I've got experience and context on, like a bad day, whatever, like I don't look at shit as granular as that now, because I know that the bigger picture is more important, and again, I've got the experience to back that up in terms of I've had these days before, I've had good days, bad days, but it's still there. The fucking, it affects your mental big time for sure. So yeah, I think trying to get away from a screen and not looking at your numbers all the time is my advice on that, because that's what people will be thinking, is like, how do I improve that? For me, it's just look at the numbers once or twice a day. Don't be fucking sat there staring at your Shopify screen, because at any level of the game, that is not healthy, even if it's going really well. So yeah, I think a lot of stuff going on. Just one point I want to mention, and this just came to mind because I think people can relate. Like I was chatting to my brother the other day on text, and he's like a civilian. He won't mind me saying that he's a civilian. My twin brother, we're very different. He has a great job and shit, but he's just not an entrepreneur, and that's fine, by the way. But it's just so different, because he was in London and he was like on a Monday, I was like, do you want to go out for dinner and shit? And by the way, I'm not a fucking incel. Like I go out for dinner probably 3 times a week. Like Thursday, Friday, Saturday usually, to be honest. But like Monday to Wednesday, usually Monday to Thursday, like there is no such thing as like an evening if you're trying to build something, at least in my view. And that's not to say you can't have that, but I think if you're truly obsessed, particularly in the early stages of something, you feel like you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not passionately working in the trenches. And like I'm not saying don't enjoy any of it, but like even right now, it's like I'm so driven again to like, because I know how painful it was when I lost the opportunity to work on what I loved last year, that now I'm back doing that again. I'm so protective of the opportunity I have ahead of me now, and I really think it's a big one. So it's finding that balance is hard, and it's an art form more than a science, for sure. That balance between, do I work all the time or do I have a life as well? And for me, I found that balance that works for me at my age, and I'm 26 and I'm older than a lot of people that watch this and younger than some. But yeah, like it's just different, because a lot of people from the outside in, it's funny because including my own brother, evidently, like maybe didn't think that was a reality, and it doesn't have to be, but it's how I want to work, because I don't want to leave any stone unturned. Because like I said, like it's kind of deep, but I really felt like I was never going to be able to do the shit I loved again when everything went wrong last year. And I mean, ultimately I knew I'd find a way back, but like to actually be back in the game is like the pressure's a fucking privilege for me now. And I really feel that, like, I'm so grateful to be able to be in the trenches again. Like, honestly, don't take it for granted. Like so many people, particularly in third world countries or whatever, would fucking love the opportunity to grind and build something. And if you've put yourself in a position to do that, or you're trying to do that, then particularly with something you enjoy, which I hope it is, then yeah, take it with both hands and fucking send it, and enjoy it as well, but fucking send it. And don't lose sight of how privileged we are, probably anyone watching this really, to be in likely a first world country with an internet connection and the ability to do this shit, to build shit online, to build creative shit, because it's easy to lose perspective. But like, honestly, I guess to summarize, it's a privilege to be in the trenches building some cool shit. And I, probably more than most at my age, I'm very aware of that, because of how south my shit went. And I thought I wouldn't have the opportunity to do it again in the back of my mind at one point. And now I'm here doing it again. So I'm not going to take it for granted, and I'm going to fucking make it work. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I feel. It's an exciting but scary but like powerful place to be, I think, like mentally. So yeah, I guess with that said, I'll wrap up. Yeah, I've got loads of shit to do. I'm going to drop this in like literally 20 minutes. I'll fucking edit it myself and upload it, and drop a comment on what you want to see. Maybe I'll just start doing some screen share stuff. I know I had a few comments about that. But yeah, for now, cheers for watching. Subscribe to the pod